Achron fans! Welcome back to the Achron Temporal Anomalies Season 1, the Semifinals. This is going to be between GoogleFrog and Shalkka. Both very skilled players who we've seen plenty of times. So far have gone completely undefeated throughout this tournament. Completely swept their opponents 2-0 each time. So, two very strong players. We've seen GoogleFrog do a lot of really crazy, well, in his case, he did a lot of crazy, just general attacking strategies, macro strategies. Historically, he's been a very strong player when it comes to using the unplayable past and generally dealing a lot of damage with chronoports and other achronal strategies. Shalkka, also a very skilled player. He's also very fond of going random, which means, of course, he's less predictable for his opponent, though, as I mentioned before, it's not huge for this. But still, Achron, it's still important to note race your opponent's playing. So when we see Shalkka play, we have no idea what he's going to be playing. He's playing random, and he's very good at that. We saw last couple games, he did a very good job with building outside of his base as well, which was very impressive. And this game, first game, will be Imperium, which is the first map for both Shalkka and GoogleFrog in their matches. And as we saw, GoogleFrog is quite fond of just going for the straight macro strategy. Shalkka, on the other hand, went for that, like I said, the base move strategy, which was really quite impressive. And I'm not sure how well it's going to work against GoogleFrog compared to against Dark Vortex, because GoogleFrog is likely to be a bit more aware, looking a lot more around the timeline. He knows that that happened, so he's going to be looking for it, I'm sure. So Shalkka will have to be a bit more careful if he is going for that strategy. If he's going for that strategy, it probably depends on which race he even starts out with. It works pretty well with Grekim. With Vecgir, it may work, but probably not well on this map. And with CESO, I wouldn't try it. So anyway, now I have the flags up. And yes, so GoogleFrog from Australia, Shalkka from Finland, and both players will be starting quite shortly. So the game will likely be an intense one between the two of them, and I don't expect any hold-up in the action. There's going to be two very strong players, very interesting players to watch. Should be very exciting 2 or 3 matches. We'll see what happens after the second one, but for now, first match on Imperium. We will be starting shortly as soon as the game actually gets started up. Once that happens, we'll have the game, and it'll be very exciting, I'm sure. So, as I mentioned before, Shalkka, I haven't seen him play a lot recently. I'm not sure what exactly his level of skill is. GoogleFrog, I have played recently, and he's still pretty sharp. So Shalkka's going to have probably a bit of a challenge again ahead of him, but I don't know how skilled he is, so I really don't know who the favorite for this match is. This should be probably a pretty even match, and we'll see. When Shalkka plays, though, he does tend to play in a very tricky fashion. He has a tendency to not just do the base move, but a bunch of other tricky strategies. And we have started. GoogleFrog is still loading up the game. Shalkka has loaded up. And we will start getting this going very quickly. So once Shalkka actually gets ready, or GoogleFrog gets in, we have the game. So GoogleFrog is in the top right corner, and Shalkka's in the bottom left corner. So no race has been chosen yet. They are still trying to get a perfect start near the beginning of the timeline. Once that happens, of course, we will know what race they are playing. GoogleFrog usually plays CESO, as mentioned in the bio. He does play other races, though, so I wouldn't be surprised if he did choose a different race, but he probably will be playing CESO, and he is. He knows Shalkka well enough to know it'd probably be a good idea. Shalkka, on the other hand, has gone for Vecgir, and will be playing probably not as risky as he did on Desecrated Temple against Dark Vortex, where he built his main base outside of his main base. But it's hard to tell, because Shalkka may still do that. However, he doesn't seem to be building up too much in his main base. He hasn't built a lot of RPs. His Shinveer and Tethveer are going outside of his base, while the Zionveer has built about 4 RPs, not much more. The Marine for GoogleFrog has built 4 RPs, should be building some more very quickly, and that's just a standard economy build, nothing special there. Probably 5 RPs in an importer, actually 4 RPs in an importer. A 5th RP should be coming up very shortly. Now, jumping ahead, jumping too far ahead, Shalkka hasn't started building up a lot more. He's got his last couple RPs, so he won't be doing as risky of a strategy as I had originally anticipated, but he will be still building up as normal. Actually, you know what? He does have more RPs than I thought, now that I look at it. Just he has a lot of RPs in between resources instead of beside the resource crates, because the map is set up such that you can actually have RPs between resource crates in your main, allowing them to switch between different types of resources at will very quickly. While GoogleFrog is actually sending out some forces to the bottom right expansion, I guess he's trying to figure out if Shalkka is going to do a strange proxy base, but of course he is not. He is going for a depot instead, getting an annex depot, and will likely be building vehicles very quickly. GoogleFrog sees this, he probably will figure out, okay, Shalkka is likely doing something normal. Hopefully for his sake, he's not completely confident about that, because of course Shalkka may still be doing something abnormal, just not making it super obvious. But no, Shalkka is in fact going for a fairly standard strategy in his base. GoogleFrog going for 2 factories and an importer. So likely a few more mechs, unless he miscounted the amount of importers he needs. Normally GoogleFrog's known to be going for Lancers a lot, though ATHCs are generally the best idea against anything. Though Vecgir has the ability to detect with Foundation, so it may not be as effective, but Lancers against Design Pulsars would be extremely effective. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw them, but ATHCs are a pretty stock unit for the opening for CESO. They can cloak, they can raid, so pretty good combination all around. ATHC has been built, and it is being sent out to the top left expansions to figure out if something's going on there. Going around the top left, actually not being sent out that far, just going around the top left and attacking from that angle, then going north in the base, checking one of the expansions to figure out, but no, there's nothing there. The other expansion, of course, has nothing there either. GoogleFrog's not fully aware of that, but will either check that or is pretty confident that Shalkka didn't build right next to his main. Shalkka, on the other hand, has 2 Zion Pulsars coming in from the bottom right side, and the players will be encountering each other. The green time wave, I think, is propagating this, so I'm pretty sure they both know at this point what's going on. GoogleFrog up at the green time wave. Yes, he does know what's going on, so he does see his ATC at the main, and the Zion Pulsars will have also reached GoogleFrog's main, which means GoogleFrog knows that Design Pulsars are coming. He is directing another ATHC. The ATHCs are being redirected to defend the Design Pulsars, but I don't think he actually undid properly the orders. The ATHCs are being sent to attack the Design Pulsars, intercepting the Design Pulsars. They will be able to deal with them very quickly. Both cloaked, Design Pulsars not even noticing, continuing along their way, but one of the Design Pulsars will be destroyed very quickly. Shalkka is not completely aware of this, but he probably will be aware of it soon. GoogleFrog will be able to take care of one of the Zion Pulsars. The other Zion Pulsar is still going through. Both Zion Pulsars are not even focused. They aren't attack moved. They're just, or if they are attacking moving, they're not carrying because the ATHCs are cloaked. They won't be able to attack them. More Zion Pulsars coming in. The ATHC from GoogleFrog in the main base still harassing. The other ATHCs are coming around. Zion Pulsar is destroying one of the mechs, but it will be destroyed before it's able to do any real damage. So the mech is completely destroyed. The harassment has been useless. And GoogleFrog actually managed to build right next to Shalkka's main and Shalkka's third expansion on the bottom right corner. So that will be basically what he should have been worried Shalkka was doing, but Shalkka never pulled off. So Shalkka is delaying his attack with the Zion Pulsars. I don't think he's actually scouting out that bottom expansion. No, it looks like he's just trying to set up his attack a bit later so the ATHCs don't get to intercept as effectively. But the ATHC in the main is still harassing quite effectively. And Shalkka has found the expansion, so Shalkka knows full well in GoogleFrog's time that there is an expansion and will likely be sending some forces to deal with this. I'm not sure if he's actually been aware of this, that he sees it on his own time, but he does have the ability to find out that there is an expansion here. So back when he is, he's likely either focusing on attacking it or will be focusing on getting units to counter when it comes up a bit more in the future, though I seriously doubt that's a good idea if he is planning on doing that, though he's likely just to be attacking it as soon as he can. He does know back at his own time that there is an attack that should be going there, that there is a base there, and his delayed Zion Pulsars should be the unit to use, really. They're right next there. That is likely what he's going to use. The ATHCs have not seen them, and they've gone back. The Zion Pulsars seem to have evaded being hit, and the Vecgir, along with another Zion Pulsar, will be able to get rid of the ATHCs harassing the main base. So GoogleFrog's harassment has been deflected pretty effectively. However, the ATHCs have found the Zion Pulsars and will be able to destroy them. GoogleFrog's well aware of these Zion Pulsars and is attacking them directly. Shalkka, however, is about half a minute behind, slowed down, or yeah, he's actually slowed down. He's sped up now, but he is likely aware of the fact that he's being attacked. I'm surprised he hasn't used the Zion Pulsars to attack that expansion in the bottom right corner. He really should, but he hasn't. So his main base has not been attacked as much, but GoogleFrog is sending the ATHCs in there from Shalkka's time. Shalkka is not sending the Zion Pulsars to the south to deal with that expansion that he knows is there. I'm a bit surprised with this, but he may be distracted by the attacks coming in that have been coming into his main base, more focused on defending the main rather than defending his Zion Pulsars on the east side of the map. Zion Pulsars, however, would be very effective right now. He is slowing down, so he's probably not actually... We're probably skipping over getting discontinuities every time he's changed stuff. The red time wave will really tell the truth on what's going on once we see what goes on there. No, the Zion Pulsars are actually completely avoiding the ATHCs again, going straight into the main base. The ATHCs are chasing them once again. GoogleFrog's ATHCs will be once again diverted. Not deflected entirely, though, but diverted. But they have destroyed the aerial control center. They are attacking the other foundation. Foundations are attacking them, but that won't last long. The Zion Pulsars, surprisingly enough, aren't attacking, but then again, Shalkka is not focused now. Shalkka, however, when he is focused, is attacking the main base very heavily. The ATHCs will be coming in. GoogleFrog will likely redirect the ETHCs, but that will still buy Shalkka some time to build up his main a bit more effectively. Shalkka jumping around the map, making sure he knows where all the expansions are because he doesn't want to lose to that any more hidden expansions. GoogleFrog, back when he's focused, does have his units coming in. He has more ETHCs coming up to attack, to defend against these Zion Pulsars, but they are going to be distracted a bit. Probably not by much. It looks like only about 5 seconds distraction. That may, however, be enough for Shalkka to build and to micro around his Zion Pulsars in his main base to defend against the ETHCs. No, the ETHCs are actually spending even more time going further back into the base to defend even further. So now Shalkka's actually bought himself about 15 seconds extra. Yeah, there's a Zion Pulsar right back there. The ETHCs will be able to destroy it, buying Shalkka quite a bit more time, enough time to easily get a couple more vehicles, at least a Shin Churcher, actually, to be honest. He had his aerial control center, he likely had enough resources. He should be able to get a Shin Churcher, and that will be able to take care of the ETHCs no problem, along with everything else. The Zion Pulsars and a Shin Churcher, the combination of that will be able to deal with this. So GoogleFrog, now having to deal with Shalkka's back harassment, will have a hard time actually taking care of what's going on. And yes, a Shin Churcher is indeed being built in the depot. So Shalkka has definitely taken care of this. The blue time wave is carrying that Shin Churcher's construction, and when it passes by right about now, it will be able to show what is going on. That Shin Churcher should be effective, but no, let's say the Shin Churcher right now. No, the Shin Churcher is not in the blue time wave. It's actually on the green time wave once it pops up. So that Shin Churcher will not be completely known to GoogleFrog until anything unplayable pass. So that's actually a nice delayed little reinforcement on Shalkka's part. So GoogleFrog won't be able to actually know there's a Shin Churcher there to help defend against that until the unplayable passed, or very close to the unplayable passed, which means that Shalkka's defense will likely be completely airtight, assuming that the Shin Churcher and the Zion Pulsars are enough to deal with his ATHCs, of course. If they aren't, then the ATHCs will win. And the Shin Churcher, the Shin Churcher's going away from the main base. Okay, this is really odd. Unless those Zion Pulsars are properly set up to defend, I don't see this working out very well. The mech Tornado also coming in to help out. It looks like the Shin Churcher is trying to deal with what damage it can. Zion Pulse is also coming down to attack this expansion, but the HHCs are going to be dealing a lot of damage in Shalkka's base. GoogleFrog back in his time, just double checking. He does see the HHCs are coming in, but he seems to be focused. No, he's going back down to protect the base. He's not focused on attacking the base using this time because that Shin Churcher is going to be outside of position. Half the HHCs are going, however, to the main base. The other half are going to defend the bottom right expansion. That Shin Churcher is completely out of position, though. I'm surprised it moved to attack this quickly. This is a really bad timing for Shalkka. GoogleFrog will be able to take advantage of this if he takes advantage of this, but it looks like he's moving his HHCs around to try to attack directly the Shin Churcher, which is rather odd, as HHCs are actually running out of energy. And Shalkka will be able to build even more forces, build more defenses, get his auto defense up. So now Shalkka has a more even footing. He's managed to build himself back up, get more units, get auto defense, get bastions up. He will be able to stop any HFC harassment that further comes into his main base. So unless GoogleFrog tries to send stuff back in time, he will not be able to attack Shalkka's base unimpeded. So well done to Shalkka. I'm a bit surprised GoogleFrog went to defend that bottom right expansion. I mean, not totally surprised because you don't want to lose it, but that was a point where the Shin Churcher was completely out of position, and that was the unit that Shalkka was building to counter the ATHCs. I'm a bit surprised that GoogleFrog didn't just go into the main base and just tear it down. Just go through, bypass everything, just go through and try to tear down the main base. However, he still will have an opportunity right now, after getting rid of these forces, more ATHCs coming in. The main base is still closed off, however, Shalkka is defending quite well. He has a lot of stag defense at any rate. Not the most effective, but obviously still effective. And more units will likely be streaming in. Shalkka has very low CE. Both players are exhausted on CE. They are almost unable to send orders at all, but they will be able to send some orders here and there. ATHCs are getting a bit confused on how to get to where they need to go, but they are going to be able to get around this. They have been set around to move to get outside of that little cliff, but they're a bit confused, a bit scared, didn't want to get in the battle line. They're just scared that they're Shin Churchers now. They can't cloak. They can't hide. They just want to hide in the corner. Like, now, imagine HHC pilot. It's like a wallflower, just hiding in the corner with his own cloaking device. It's like, doesn't really care. Just wants to get out of the way because his friends forced him to the party. And those boisterous Marv Phoenix pilots. But anyway, I digress. There is an attack, however, going on, much more interesting than my little anecdote, my little fake anecdote. There is, however, a lot of units coming in. Shalkka's base has a lot of units. There are a lot of Zion Pulsars coming in as well that I don't see really why GoogleFrog has waited so long to attack. He is setting up his economy a bit better. Shalkka, now is a good time for Shalkka to attack, but it's risky. He has a Zion Pulsar in GoogleFrog's main base. GoogleFrog doesn't seem quite as concerned as he used to. He probably will be sending some more forces to help deal with that. The Tornado, however, stopping his main base, will likely be turning around to attack that and Shalkka will not be held off that quickly. It looks like GoogleFrog is going to defend that western expansion from the incoming attack from Shalkka, but really, Shalkka is starting to fall behind. GoogleFrog has quite a few expansions, quite a bit of production capacity. Shalkka has one expansion, or one main, really, no expansions. GoogleFrog has 2 expansions and 3 bases worth of production capacity, so at this point, Shalkka is going to be running out of time if he wants to put any meaningful pressure onto GoogleFrog before GoogleFrog starts to just completely spiral out of control, at which point GoogleFrog will pretty much have the game. And here we go. Here's the attempt to stop the spiraling out of control. Shalkka is sending about a dozen Zion Pulsars in here to try to deal with the army. I'm not sure if there's any Teth Pulsars or other anti-air units, but there are a bunch of Zion Pulsars, so the entire ground army will be obliterated. A Shin Turcher and Teth Turcher are retreating from that west base before the attack comes in from GoogleFrog. So Shalkka will be able to use that to help out with the attack and to help obliterate that Tornado as well. And there are Teth Pulsars included in this attack from the looks of it, so that will be an effective attack to get rid of GoogleFrog's forces. GoogleFrog will need to be able to counter this when he gets a chance, but it's hard to tell what's going on right now. The stream seems to have locked up a bit. Once that stops, then we will know what's going on. It looks like, from what we can see now, though, Shalkka will be able to obliterate GoogleFrog's forces. And yes, here we go. So GoogleFrog's forces will be attacked very heavily. There is a Tornado coming in to try to defend the top left expansion, but there's nothing really there. No attacking going on there. Zion Pulse is coming in. GoogleFrog has held back to try to defend his own turf, but he really didn't have much turf to defend on. It did, however, help that he did split up the Zion Pulsars, but they seem to have been able to flank and still win. So the Zion Pulsars and Teth Pulsars were able to obliterate everything going on, or will be able to, this from where we are now, obliterate everything going on. And Shin Turcher, Teth Turcher coming in as well. This will be... Actually, no, there are no Teth Pulsars, just Zion Pulsars. The ground forces are going to be completely destroyed. The air forces, however, will be able to obliterate this Shin Turcher rapidly. The HHCs are not cloaking, but the Tornadoes will not be able to take care of this Teth Turcher before the Teth Turcher takes care of them. That will be that army destroy the Zion Pulsars, going on, completely ignoring the Tornado while the Teth Turcher takes care of it. Going straight into the main base, Shalkka will be able to obliterate GoogleFrog's main base. GoogleFrog still has 2 other bases, but Shalkka will be able to use this to try to regain some map control. If he takes that bottom right expansion, attacks it, knocks it down, he will be able to expand there himself and get himself back into this game. This is really his only chance. Getting a bunch of half a dozen Zion Pulsars still alive, getting into the main base. Tornadoes are dealing quite a bit of damage to them. That Teth Turcher will need to help out, and it's not coming in fast enough. More Zion, or this is further back. We're just jumping further back to see about half a minute down from when we saw the half dozen, and about a minute up, we still see that even with that Tornado, not enough damage is being dealt. GoogleFrog is losing his main base. His bottom right base is being attacked quite heavily. The macrofabs are being destroyed. His westernmost base is being attacked heavily. However, he is about half a minute behind where we were looking, and the Teth Turcher has come in to help out. A bastion being built up as well to help out, an offensive bastion. So that will be a very powerful attack. The Tornadoes being attacked on the ground before they were able to take off, being attacked quite heavily, while the Teth Turcher coming in and trying to finish them off. This will be very difficult for GoogleFrog to deal with. And another Teth Turcher coming behind to seal the deal, so GoogleFrog has pretty much lost this, unless he has something really up his sleeve, which he doesn't have gate tech, and he doesn't seem to be in the position to put a delayed attack on that will actually provide meaningful pressure. I don't see this really working out. GoogleFrog has pretty much lost his main base. He will be very quickly losing the rest of his bases. Bottom right base is being attacked heavily. The macrofab is gone. The second macrofab will be destroyed very quickly. From Shalkka's point of view, about half a minute down, we see that he is still continuing his attack, not doing really anything different, except maybe just adding more units when he gets a chance. But the Teth Turcher's coming in, we'll be able to deal with his Tornadoes, and everything else, like I said, that macrofab, that bottom right base has been destroyed. And we're now about half a minute down from when the macrofab is destroyed. And no, he's changed around, attacking the RPs instead, but it really doesn't matter. GoogleFrog has enough resources in stock to do anything with what he has, but he doesn't really have anything to do, because he's losing his factories, he's losing his macrofabs. He may be able to get a Mar tank out or a frigate out. That won't help too much. A heavy cruiser would actually be able to come out, and a frigate has come out. It's helping a little bit, but it's not helping as much as he would like, I'm sure. And once Teth Turchers come in to deal with that, it'll be over. So GoogleFrog has lost pretty much his main base, his bottom right expansion, his top left expansion is being heavily damaged. He has an armory still that's alive, and another armory fully northwest. And now that macrofab is being completely obliterated before the frigate's able to even get out. This will not go well for GoogleFrog, so GoogleFrog will pretty much have to deal with this in Game 2. Shalkka has complete map control. He's able to completely destroy the bases of GoogleFrog. Shalkka has complete map control, complete timeline control. I don't see GoogleFrog being able to get out of this, even if he tries to do some tricky echo spam with chronoporting if he pushes in the future. CESO does not get chronoporting fast enough and chronoport gate fast enough to really pull that off in such a way he'd be able to effectively defend. So right now, I don't see GoogleFrog's way to get out of this. He is a tricky player. He might be able to find a way but it looks like Shalkka's little strategy actually pulled off, managed to get the counter harassment working, and managed to get his giant Zion Pulsar Force to deal with everything going on that GoogleFrog had. So, well done GoogleFrog for getting some counter forces, but it looks like those ATHCs, there might have been too many ATHCs for GoogleFrog, and I'm surprised, though, that Shalkka actually managed to get away with so little anti-air and so little air, just all these Zion Pulsars. But he did manage to get away with it, and yes, the top left base is being destroyed from GoogleFrog's point of view. He'll likely jump back to see what he can do to help defend that even further, but he is focused on this point in time, and he has quite a bit of chrono energy. Shalkka has very little. A Tornado coming up as well to help defend, and a defense turret. The Tornado will be able to deal some damage, but really 2 or 3 Zion Pulses getting lost at this point won't be a big deal. Shalkka has more than enough resources right now. He's more than enough production capacity. He will easily be able to rebuild that if he needs to, and he will easily be able to take care of everything else GoogleFrog has. So destroying the entire advantage GoogleFrog had, I'm a bit surprised. I'm not entirely surprised GoogleFrog didn't have a huge unit advantage, given that he had built a lot of buildings, but Shalkka, really perfect timing on this attack to deal with everything he has before GoogleFrog managed to get the units he needed to defend these expansions. This is exactly the timing he needed, although I'm still not entirely sure about that Shin Turcher. The fact that GoogleFrog did get distracted by it did mean it worked. It didn't work exactly in the same way I imagined it would. I imagined that GoogleFrog would continue to attack with those ATHCs in the main base while the Shin Turcher would defend. But Shalkka did manage to distract the ATHCs long enough to buy himself enough time to get himself to where we are now, where he is basically in the position to completely obliterate GoogleFrog. All he needs to do is just deal the finishing blows in the bottom right and top left bases, and he will have won the game. And he's definitely getting expansion. The top left, or center top left expansion is being taken. The bottom right expansion he is starting to take as well as more RPs. Back when GoogleFrog's focused about half a minute up, we see that he has managed to lose his entire base. GoogleFrog has the top left base, and that's it. Shalkka has increasingly more bases. He's getting more RPs in this base. The bottom right base is getting more RPs. Back when GoogleFrog is focused, Shalkka, when he is focused, hasn't quite gotten it yet, but he is teleporting RPs in, which means he will have definitely more resources. So Shalkka is going to be able to completely finish this up as soon as he gets the chance. Further in the future, he hasn't actually moved much. We haven't seen his actual orders propagated yet. Once the Max Prep is destroyed, he's likely to start ordering his units to attack the top left expansion, just finish that off. GoogleFrog does have the center right expansion, but that won't be able to hold him off for long. He has enough resources to build RPs, and given about 2 or 3 minutes, he will be able to completely finish that up, but the top left expansion is probably more important. That is the expansion that will allow GoogleFrog to actually rebuild. And Shalkka's getting gate tech on top of this, so he will be able to teleport everything around very rapidly. Once gate tech is researched, all units get skip teleport, which means he'll be able to get back to the side of the map. He is, since this is closer, he doesn't have skip teleport, focused on the RPs being built in this expansion. He will destroy them, no problem. This will be very quick. Within about 5 seconds, they'll all be gone. Well, 5 seconds. It's actually fast forwarding, so 10 seconds really. All the RPs will be gone. And Tornads, 2 Tornads, a Lancer, and nothing else is coming in from GoogleFrog's top left expansion. Not a lot of anti-air directly at this expansion being assaulted, but there is a couple Tet Turchers around the map. There are Tet Turchers that will be likely sent very quickly. The top left base is still holding fast, but it's not going to last very long. Shalkka will be able to deal with this at his leisure, pretty much. So the Zion Pulsars have managed to deal with what is going on. The Green Time Web is actually carrying the assault that we saw, but it looks like the Tornado and Lancer are going to be distracted a little bit, too. And the Tet Turcher has come into the main base, and now Gate Tech's ready, so everything's teleporting into the top left base to finish it off. So GoogleFrog will be able to finish off the top left base at his leisure. Once he manages to get his Tet Turchers right there as well to help out, to stop the Zion Pulsars from getting killed, he will be able to finish off the base. However, the Lancers and Tornados are dealing a lot of damage. The Tet Turcher has not been moved into position. It really is moved into position. He needs to get the Tet Turcher to this battle in order to deal with this, because if he doesn't, he's going to be losing everything he's built up, and that will not last very long. So as we can see, it looks like, oh crap. Oh boy, hell. It looks like Shalkka actually disconnected. Right as on the verge of winning too. So I think Shalkka, yeah, this is a bit problematic. Shalkka, while winning, has disconnected. I'm not sure what happened exactly, but that, oh man, that sucks. That's gotta hurt. I'm so sorry, Shalkka. Oh, man. Well, that explains why the Tet Turcher wasn't moving into the base, at any rate. And it looks like, yeah, I'm not sure. GoogleFrog, he's doing much. What's happened to Shalkka? Just check the RC channel. Looks like Shalkka somehow got forcibly disconnected. I'm not sure what happened. Must have been something happening with his router at home. I seriously doubt there's any... Hopefully no foul play involved on the networking side. I seriously doubt that the players have been doing that. But, I don't know. Okay, so I apologize for this. Shalkka has disconnected. I'm not sure what we're going to do about this. I think GoogleFrog is tearing up, but I think Shalkka really had it. I mean, really, other than the disconnect, Shalkka would have just won right away. So I'm not sure what we're going to do. We're still deciding what we're going to do about this game because there was a disconnect. But I'm going to be talking to the other tournament organizer, Merovingian, and hopefully we'll be able to work out something, figure out what's going on, and hopefully no more disconnects will happen. This is actually very unusual. We were expecting that if there were any disconnects, they'd be on the loser's side to figure out what's going to happen. We didn't expect a winner to disconnect. So, I mean, obviously, it was quite likely not a grief disconnect where you disconnect to try to avoid a loss because Shalkka was winning. So that will probably end up being... That will be decided. The game is ending. We will be working out from there what to do. And we'll let you know pretty soon. So just give us a second to organize this. Okay, so we apologize for the delay, and basically, I know it seems a bit awkward. I'm not sure how common this particular type of decision is, but basically, given that Shalkka was basically, I say basically a lot, don't I? Shalkka was on the verge of winning. Pretty much one attack move away from winning, and GoogleFrog had nothing but what Shalkka had. Even if Shalkka's attack move wasn't fully successful, more units would have streamed in, so we decided to give Shalkka the win because he was 2 minutes away from winning anyway when the disconnect happened. It wasn't his fault. Clearly he didn't intend it because there's no reason why he would have intended that in order to get a win. I mean, he wasn't losing, so, or rather to avoid a loss, so he wasn't losing. So Shalkka gets the win, and we go into game 2. So a bit of a tricky decision. I know most of the time disconnect means loss, but in this case, given how close Shalkka was to winning, that would have just been, that really wouldn't have worked. So we decided, giving Shalkka the win, moving on to game 2.